What is intercultural marketing? Maria González, Carmen García, and Ana Moner will explain how marketing techniques change among different cultures. Marketing is a set of actions or tactics that a company uses to promote its brand or its product in the marketplace. The 4 Ps make up a typical marketing mix: price, product, promotion, and place. But how do these 4 Ps change when culture changes? It is necessary to adapt these 4 Ps to the culture of a specific country. This is essential in order to be successful in the international market growth.
Talking about changes in price, this P changes responds to the theory of the purchasing power parity. A good example is the Big Mac burger. Purchasing power parity implies that exchange rates are determined by the value of goods that currencies can buy. Differences in local prices, in this case for Big Macs, can suggest what the exchange rate should be. Using Burgernomics, we can estimate how much one currency is under or overvalued relative to another. In the Big Mac Index, we can clearly see the different prices for Big Mac around the world, according to their economic accessibility.
The firm has to make up its mind and decide whether to use standardization or differentiation. This last technique has some factors to take into account. The main aim of the firms is that the product has to be attractive for one particular country, so this requires a deep research into this market. The type of product has to be able to adapt to different cultures whilst keeping in mind the traditional and cultural habits of the country. For this reason, the characteristics of the product can vary to one from another. For example, McDonald's is the most popular chain of junk food in the world. It is settled around 119 countries, so that means McDonald's has to adapt its menus to every country. It's not comparable to the impact of a famous bread omelette in Spain than in the United States. In Holland, we can find the McCrocket, a Dutch equivalent of croquette. In Japan, we can eat a matcha McFlurry with Oreo made with green tea. In India, we can find the McCurry pan with curry. And in Germany, we can eat the Mannerberg, a hamburger with sausages. Another example could be that the product has to be adapted to the weather of the country. A warm coat won't be so useful in Hawaii than in Switzerland, and the same with a bikini.
Changes in place, on the other hand, may affect the distribution channels. The different business will decide which type of channel should they choose to use, taking into account the characteristics of the place they are acting on. For example, there are places where online shopping has more use since people prefer not to move from home and make purchases from there. In these cases, companies decide to invest more in improving the online stores than in multiplying and improving the physical stores.
In the different countries and cultures, symbols may have different meanings. As advertising is full of symbols, companies need to be aware of how they use them and the meaning they may have for the public they are addressing. If not, the advertising campaign can be absolutely ineffective or even negative for the company, as it may spread a bad image of it. The language spoken in the country has to be considered too, because a same word can have different meanings. This has happened repeatedly to car companies. They usually set the same name worldwide for each car model, but a word which may sound good in English, for example, may have an inappropriate meaning in Spanish. Mitsubishi launching a car named Pajero is an example of this. In this case, the name was changed in the Spanish-speaking market for Montero. A similar problem happened to the Mazda La Puta or the Nissan Moco, but these two didn't get to arrive to the Spanish market. A lack of information led to the total failure of an advertising campaign, which goal was to raise awareness among the Arabic population of the benefit of medicines. The ad consisted of a drawing of a sad face in the left, a syringe in the middle, and a happy face in the right. The message they wanted to send was that thanks to the medicine, people who were feeling bad would feel better. However, they didn't take into account the Arabic population read the other way round, from right to left, what drastically changed the meaning of the campaign. As well as the language, when it comes to marketing across cultures, it's also important to keep in mind the cultural mindset, which is the way of thinking, opinions, and attitudes which share members of a same culture. We can clearly observe this in a Coca-Cola campaign called Break Up. The company used the same advert worldwide, but did some changes on it in order to adapt it to its country mindset. We can see that the commercial address to the Western countries is clearly racier. Love scenes have been removed from the Eastern aimed ad.
Never did believe what I couldn't see. Darling, I was made for you.
To sum up, we could say that if companies want to grow and be successful in the international market, they always have to take into account its country economic situation and their population tastes and culture. This is essential in order to send the right message and attract customers. We hope you found this video interesting and useful. Thank you very much for your attention.